This Google Sheet tutorial is called Story Creator, or maybe Silly Story. What you're probably used to it being called is Mad Libs. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be creating two sheets. Here's a sheet that has words that you're going to be prompting a person that's participating in your activity to put words in here. In the second sheet is going to be a story, and you want to sort of withhold this story from the person participating until after they fill the words out. Then they'll come back and fill this in. Let me give you a little idea of how this works. So they're prompted to put an animal here. So we type the word bird and press enter. And then if you go to the story created, let's pretend they filled in all these words. That word is popped into your story. So whatever words they put in here will create the story here. And of course, they don't know the context. So when they fill these in, that's what results in a silly story. So I'm going to go to an untitled spreadsheet here. And I already have two sheets created on the bottom. If you don't know how to create a sheet, you just add the plus sign, and that makes a sheet. And then you can click this little arrow next to it to rename it and give it any kind of a name you want. But I'm going to call my first sheet words. The second name of the sheet, your second sheet, is going to be called story. Sometimes I'll give it a different color to make that stand out so that the person doing the sheet understands that they need to be doing two different things. So on the first one here, on the second one, when you create this, you're going to be working on the story sheet first. And I would have the students write the story ahead of time, maybe on a Google Doc or on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be a long story, but it does have to have nouns and verbs, and adjectives are helpful. So I'm going to make a real simple sentence that says, the bird is flying in the blue sky. You'll notice the key to this working is to put one word in each cell, or else the whole Mad Lib kind of falls apart. So when they write the story, this is kind of a painstaking part, putting one word per cell. So after they go through that, then they're going to find words that they can take out of their story that would make it so that when somebody else comes in, they can fill in words and it would change the story possibly. So I'm going to be removing nouns and verbs and adjectives. So I'm going to take this word bird out. And I'm also going to take the word blue out. And now I want to prompt my user to fill this in. So this could be any animal. So I'm going to go back to words now. And what I'm going to do is type something here that's going to cause the user to fill in something that I want them to fill in. So this is an animal, and that second box was the color blue in my story, but they can fill in any color they want. I'm going to dress this up to make it look nice, like this is. But the important part now is to go back to your story and write a formula for every blank that you have here. So this one is going to start out with the equal sign, which tells Google Sheets that you're doing a formula. And then the next thing you're going to type in here is the name of the sheet that you want it to refer to. So I am on the story sheet, but I want it to go and look on the words sheet. And the next thing I'm going to do is type an exclamation point. And then I want to tell it what cell on the word sheet I want it to go and get. So right here is where the person is going to type the name of the animal. So that is cell C9. So when I go back here, it says error because I didn't finish it. So I come back up here and I'm going to type in C9 and then I press enter. Now, at least I don't have an error here. This is blank, but when I click, I do see the formula. So now I'm going to test this out by going back to my words, and I'm going to fill in an animal, dog, press enter, and go back to my story to see if that worked. Yep, there's the word dog. So this is working. I'm going to go here and do one more. Equals, words is the name of the sheet, exclamation point. And just to try and remember here, this was C9, so this one is going to be C10, that I don't have to go and look at it. Enter. So now I'm going to test this out. I go to words. I type in the word purple. You press enter and then go back, and purple is showing up here. So to keep track of what words you're filling in and what words were already there when the person is actually doing the story, you'll notice that in my story created here, I formatted all the words that are going to be filled in a little bit different. So I made them red so they stand out more when the person types them in. So you can format this any way you want. It doesn't have to look like what's formatted over here. So if I type the word carrots, it's just in a plain font. But when I go over to story created, I have formatted this to show up as bold red so that when somebody's finished typing and writing the story, they're going to be able to see when they switch over to the story created tab, the words that they have inserted. And then as usual, you can have the person spruce this up and add some clip art and color in some of the rows and columns around it to make their story stand out more, and maybe add some of the thematic units of what they have in the story around the words there.